Here in the U.S., TikTok might be gone by mid-January, you may recall, unless it's sold off by ByteDance, its parent company in China, or wins a lawsuit that keeps them from having to do that.
Right.
But even if it survives that fight, it just got hit with many more fights, lawsuits from 13 states and Washington, D.C. And by the way, this is not about political content. It's about the features and the effects, the alleged features and effects of TikTok and whether they're safe for kids and teens in particular. I'm going to go on my little walk.
Go on your little walk,
and
Tony.
explain this. So if you've talked to a teenager lately, and I have, you know that for a lot of them, their eyes are on TikTok almost all the time. In fact, 1 out of 5 say they are almost constantly on the app. And that is kind of the whole idea, according to the attorneys general who are bringing this lawsuit, this series of lawsuits. They say TikTok has purposely made its app as addictive as possible, purposely targeted children in the process, and then purposely misrepresented the safety features as more effective than they in fact are. And while every lawsuit is written a little bit differently based on different state laws, they all try to steer clear of these big First Amendment issues by focusing on features and effects, like the so-called beauty filters that may affect mental health and body image, and also viral challenges that have led to injuries or even death in some cases. Now, a TikTok spokesperson called all this inaccurate and misleading and said they strongly disagree with the arguments and they do plan to fight them. For more on that fight and what the states want out of this fight, I think we have just the guest, don't we, Adriana?
We absolutely have just the guest. We have Rob Bonta, the Attorney General for the state of California. Attorney General, thank you so much for joining us. You have been leading this effort with other attorneys general to bring these state lawsuits toward TikTok. But TikTok says that it does have safeguards in place, that it has been working on these protections. You say that's not true. Where is that disconnect?
Well, that's part of TikTok's ongoing lies and deception, this promotion of their kids mode, which they want to create the perception that they're taking steps to keep kids safe, but the reality is they're absolutely not. What do I mean? They have a so-called 60-minute limit on duration for young people, but the reality is the young people create their own passcode after 60 minutes. If they want to stay on TikTok longer than 60 minutes, they're asked to put in the passcode that they have, and they do regularly. So there's no true limit on the duration. It's easily circumvented. They also have a feature that they call their fresh start or a refresh button. When a personalized algorithm sends you into these rabbit holes and you want to get out and you want to start again with a new feed, you can press refresh. But the truth of the matter is, after a certain amount of use, the pre-refresh user engagement data is used again to send you videos and content or information that you were getting before. So those features, those designs are problematic. And what we're really talking about here is TikTok holding out to the world that their platform is safe when they know internally that it's not. Internally, they acknowledge the problems of the beauty, of the personalized algorithm, of the other features and designs, but to the world they say we're safe, and it's not true. It's a lie. It's deceptive. It's false statements and fraudulent statements. That's why we're holding them accountable in court. They shouldn't be doing this. They're hurting our kids, a whole generation of young people.
I know a lot of parents agree with you. I've got a kind of a combined question here. The first, Mr. Attorney General, is how do you know that they know? What makes you believe that they are well aware of all these problems and are doing it anyway? And then the second thing, which we hear a lot, is are you blaming TikTok for something that really parents should be policing at home?
This problem lies in the lap and at the feet of TikTok, because they are a large, $1 billion, sophisticated corporation. They know exactly what they're doing. How do we know that they know it? Because their own words, their own documents, their own statements to each other that we were able to subpoena through a 2.5-year investigation tell us so. They recognize the massive impacts on self-esteem and body image of their beauty filters. They know the massive detrimental impacts on kids of their personalized algorithms. They know the massive impacts on young people of the the duration and frequency of use that they seek to maximize. They know there are steps they can take to limit that harm on young people, like pauses from autoplay and infinite scroll, like limits on the beauty filter, like an organic algorithm instead or an organic feed instead of a personalized algorithm. But they do it anyway. Why? Because they are in pursuit of endless profit. So we know they know because their own words tell us they know. And that is part of what our investigation revealed. And we can't blame the victims. Parents, of course, always have a role. I'm a parent. I'm a dad of three teenagers and someone in her early 20s, and they are on TikTok very often, and that is not uncommon. I think many moms and dads would connect with that. Of course, we take a role to talk about limiting use of platforms, putting them down, interacting with people in real life and not online, but TikTok has specifically taken advantage of, exploited, manipulated young people, their psychological vulnerabilities, the way their brains have developed, their lesser ability to self-regulate, their differences in executive functioning, and taken advantage of them. They called kids their golden audience. They targeted them for a reason, and they're hurting them.
Mr. Attorney General, we can tell you are 2 years of investigating has given you a lot of material to work with. It's going to be litigated in court. TikTok denies all this, but it's clearly going to be a fight. Mr. Attorney General, thank you very much.